So I've kind of been doing a little bit of thinking, and I realized that a lot of the journey that I've taken you with me on has had a lot to do with how I thought of myself, specifically my level of self-confidence. I feel like for years, my shopping addiction, my overconsumption, my mismanagement with money, all of that stemmed from a lack of self-confidence. And what I think I've really learned so far out of this debt repayment, sort of intentional living journey is that I started to like myself and I started to feel more confident in my life, in my skin, and in my own choices. So today I wanted to talk to you about the 10 ways that I became confident. And I want to thank Aura for sponsoring this video, but I'll talk about them more a little later on. This is not really a confidence where I feel like I've grown an ego or even find an excuse to strut.
There's only one thing to do at a moment like this. Strut.
But this confidence that I've gained is kind of a quiet confidence. It's a sense of feeling sure of myself, feeling comfortable in my own skin and my own decisions, and just kind of reminding myself that, yeah, I kind of do got this. The first and I think most important thing that helped me gain confidence was that I finally decided to face my own bullshit head on. It was because of my own bullshit and my own choices that I got myself to where I was. I got myself into a pile of student loan debt. I was medicating my own self-pity and feelings of worthlessness by shopping and buying new clothes and makeup and trying to find ways to fix myself when maybe I really wasn't broken to begin with. I really had to come to terms with the simple fact that where I ended up, how much money I spent, and how much stuff I had to show for it was all because of me. When I decided to face my own bullshit and realize that the choices that I made back then were exactly what got me to where I am today, I really started to gain a lot of confidence because I was able to recognize and face the problem and start working on it. And it feels uncomfortable and it's painful and you're gonna get pissed off at yourself. But if you take a look at your life from a different perspective, from a different lens, then you can really start to tackle whatever you want to change. And for me, that brought a confidence I didn't know was there before. The second way I gained confidence was that I stopped making excuses for myself. I know a lot of this may seem like I'm a bit of a hard ass, but for me, I find that a lot of where I was taking myself were because I kept making excuses. I made all of these excuses for my own choices and my own behavior and really blamed it on other people a lot of the time. I was spoiled, I was privileged, and I flexed that as much as I could to avoid facing my own reality. At the end of the day, making excuses is really just the easy way out, and it's a way that we really push back on taking any responsibility for our own selves. When I stopped making excuses and started facing the problem, like figuring out how I was really gonna pay off $120,000 of student loan debt, like understanding where my money was going and understanding why it was going there, and taking ownership of the choices that I had made, like where I wanted to live, where I decided to get my job. All of these things were my own choice and I wasn't stuck in them. And I had to stop using those as an excuse and start making that work. Or simply changing it if I didn't like it. And I understand that sometimes a lot of that is out of your control, but getting a little real with yourself and seeing if you are making excuses in certain areas that you can change and that maybe you're a little bit afraid to change, I think that's when you start seeing a lot of growth and with that, a lot of confidence. The next way I built some confidence was that I started to learn about things that I thought were stupid. And this was things like meditation, therapy. These were all practices that I didn't think I need and that I thought I had my shit together enough that I could just deal with whatever was coming my way. Turns out I really couldn't deal with it, and I wasn't really dealing with it because the fantasy of my life that I was creating in my head wasn't matching my reality. And when I started to explore things like going to therapy, like meditation, and starting to learn about these things, the more I realized that they weren't stupid and that almost anybody can benefit from some of these things. And the way I've been exploring this a little bit more is by using the app Aura. Aura is a mental health and wellness app that I've been using for the past couple of weeks to learn more about the things that I think are kind of weird, like meditation, like therapy, like daily affirmations. I'm admittedly a bit of a skeptic when it comes to a lot of these practices, but I think Aura is pretty cool because unlike traditional meditation apps, Aura partners with hundreds of experts around the world to provide a very personalized, all-in-one library for mental health and wellness. With Aura, you get access to thousands of meditations, stories, cognitive behavioral therapy, life coaching, and a ton more. Aura is basically the Spotify for wellness and sleep, and it's been pretty awesome. What I've been really liking so far are the CBT tidbits. They're all about 5 to 10 minutes long, and it just delves deep into things that I'm interested in that I think will help, like addressing core beliefs, reframing values and anxieties. It's really easy to get started. All you have to do is fill out a questionnaire, and Aura will give you personalized tracks that you can use for sleep, morning wake-ups, or even if you just want to practice a 3-minute quickie of mindfulness. So if you're ready to give Aura a try yourself, the first 500 people to click the link in the description will get a free trial and an exclusive 25% off. And in learning about some of the things that I was afraid of or had judgments on, like meditation, therapy, and even money, that's when confidence really starts building, because you're learning something new and you're challenging any previous assumptions that you may have had about that thing before. The fourth way I gained confidence actually came from my personal style, and it was when I stopped buying clothes. Now, mind you, here and there, I still do purchase clothing every once in a while, but it is an exponential difference from what it was before. I realized the more I chased trends and kept experimenting and trying new things, the further away I was getting from who I really was and when I felt most comfortable. The more I shopped, the more confused I got, the less I wore the things I bought, and the more overwhelmed I got. I did not mean to rhyme all of that stuff. I don't know what that was. They say what you wear on the outside is a reflection of who you are on the inside. And when I was following trends and shopping on a weekly basis, I felt confused, small, and really unsure of myself. And I probably looked it too in all the clothes because I didn't know how to wear them. And it's pretty life-changing to kind of stand tall in what you're wearing and be like, yeah, I look good, I feel good, I feel like myself. The fifth realization I had that really changed my confidence was I realized that I was the problem and the solution. When you start doing things like calling yourself out on your own bullshit, stop making excuses, and start facing the issue and taking action, you do start to realize that maybe you do play a role in how some of the things are turning out in your life, at least in some of the things that you actually have control over. I'm the curator of my own life, and there's people in it who come and go, who influence it, who impact it either for better or for worse. But at the end of the day, if there's things that I want to change about myself and the decisions that I make, it's all on me. So if I see a problem within myself, it's really up to me to find a solution for it. And that's not to say that you can't ask people for help or other forces aren't going to be involved in helping you find that solution, but the person who's going to execute it and put it into action is you. And when you start implementing those solutions and find consistency in that and start seeing results, that's when you're kind of like, holy shit, I think I'm onto something. I think this is working. The sixth way I started to build confidence was that I started to respect myself. I think a lot of the money decisions that I had made in the past were because I really didn't like myself and I didn't respect myself. It was always just easier to spend the money to add to cart and find ways to clean up the YOLO mess that I had made for myself. It was when I committed to getting out of debt and really started to see some progress there that I started to believe in myself, and I really was able to look forward into my future and respect myself enough to stick to the plan. I realized that just indulging in my impulses whenever I wanted may have felt good at the time, but it was doing nothing for the future that I wanted for myself, and it was really doing nothing for my confidence because I couldn't hack it enough to honor myself and my own goals and stick to my own rules. For me, not only was it the way I often talked to myself, but it was the way I treated myself too, in the way that I treated myself. I just did whatever I wanted whenever I wanted it, and I had no consideration for what that would mean for myself later on. It's really when I decided to stop self-sabotaging and actually respect myself enough to stick to my goals and my vision that I really started to build that confidence. The seventh way I started to build confidence is a little more specific, but it's when I started to learn about money. When I started to learn about money and stop being afraid of it, it really changed everything for me. Money doesn't have to be scary, and I think people make it seem more complicated than it really is, especially when it comes to your own personal finance. And the first thing that you can do to start learning about money is start learning about your own money habits, understanding exactly how much money you make and exactly how much goes where every single month, and how you can change some of your own behaviors to benefit you when it comes to your money. When I started to challenge all of those beliefs and really just learn about how money worked in my own life, and now learning about things like how money can work for me, like investing, saving, other ways that I can build my own financial safety net, the more confidence I gained. I don't think money is something to fear. I don't think it's something to be hush-hush about or taboo about. I think the more you learn about money and the more you understand it, the more you can really understand how it works in your own life, and the more you understand yourself. Method number 8 that helped me build my own confidence was getting off social media. And for me, I'm a content creator. I spend a lot of time on social media. But this year, I really started to dig deep into understanding the connection of why I felt so bad every time I opened up my phone. Understanding the role that it can play actively or even subliminally later in your own life and your own decisions and how you feel about your own life, then I think you can really start to build some confidence from there, because when you realize that a lot of the things you see on social media isn't real or is exaggerated or is a highly curated representation of an ideal, then I think you can start to really remember that you probably have it better than you think, and there's more to be grateful for in your own life than you might assume. And straight up, most people don't have their shit together. Most people don't really know what they're doing. So recognizing that, reminding yourself of it, and remembering not to compare yourself to that, I think is a way to really help build some confidence and use social media with a little bit more of a filter. The 9th way I built confidence is a little bit more hands-on, and it is exercising regularly. You know, it's fun to want to be like a fit girl and to have abs and a nice peachy butt, but how about just exercising to stay healthy, to feel good, and to do something kind for your own body and your mind? How about that? For me, I noticed that if I go weeks on end without exercising and kind of live that couch potato life, I start to feel really sluggish. I get a big case of the saddies. I just don't feel good about myself. So when I committed to exercising consistently, usually around 3 times a week is what I can squeeze in, I realized that really contributed to my own well-being, to my own mental health, and to just feeling more confident overall. And the final thing that really helped me build confidence was paying attention to my beauty routine. So things like skincare, hair care, a little bit of escaping in the places where I want to. All of these things are rituals and practices that just help me feel good about myself. And when it comes to these beauty routines, it's really so personal and whatever works for you. For me, a major thing in this is skincare, because when I find that I'm breaking out, even like right now, I can't focus on anything else. And a lot of my confidence really just diminishes from there. I really have to think hard and remind myself that I'm valuable, worthy, and doing good work with a bunch of zits or not. Or I feel better when I have eyebrows on, because I don't really have any and they always look different. But it's just certain things that help me feel a little bit more at ease, a little more comfortable, and just a little bit more confident. I know that can be a little superficial to some people, but for me it really helps. And it's however you want to define your own sense of beauty and when you feel the most beautiful. I think spend some time doing that. So those are some of the ways that I have started to build confidence in myself. It's some of these things that I've implemented and some of the truths that I had to face that are really helping me build up my own self and believe in myself. And that to me is what true confidence is. So let me know some of the ways that you have started to become more confident and that help you feel like your best self. Leave me a comment down below. Thanks so much to Aura for sponsoring this video, and if you guys were interested in giving them a try, you can check out the link in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.